Her husband fainted several times at the funeral of his first love. The next day, he committed suicide at the grave of his first love, holding a suicide note, with the only request being to be buried with her. The children were moved by the love story of the two and decided to fulfill the old couple's last wish. The woman who had been by his side for 40 years became a laughingstock. My granddaughter threw her rice bowl at me, crying, "It's all your fault. If it weren't for you emotionally blackmailing Grandpa his whole life, he wouldn't have killed himself. I could have been the descendant of a scientist, not the granddaughter of a country bumpkin like you." I was so angry it triggered a heart attack, but I heard my daughter say, "Ugh, we have to arrange another funeral again. It's such a hassle for all the relatives to come back and forth." My son said indifferently, "Anyway, there's no grave for her. Let's skip the funeral and just scatter her ashes in the river." When I opened my eyes again, I had been reborn to the third year of my time as an educated youth in the countryside. This year, my spot to return to the city for work hadn't yet been given away by my husband to his white moonlight. The basket on my back was grabbed, and a deep voice spoke beside me, "Hongxia, go help Xiuemei with planting rice seedlings, and let her go gather pigweed." Turning my head, I saw a young face. It was Zhao Jidong, 21 years old, my childhood friend. Seeing me standing there blankly, he impatiently said, "Xiuemei's having her period today. She can't go into the water. She'll catch a cold. Swap jobs with her." Before I could respond, Qin Xiuemei beside me timidly said, "Sister, don't worry. All the work points for today's rice planting will be yours. I won't compete with you." Hearing this again, I laughed in anger. I laughed at my past self, blind and foolish, for not picking up on Qin Xiuemei's hidden meaning. Nor did I notice that Zhao Jidong's heart had already leaned elsewhere. Zhao Jidong said again, "What are you spacing out for? The captain is already rushing us. Go already." I pulled back the basket and looked at the two of them seriously. "I'm on my period today. I can't go into the water. In my previous life, Zhao Jidong asked me to swap jobs with Qin Xiuemei. I gave Qin Xiuemei the easiest job of gathering pigweed and took on the harder task of planting rice in the water for her. Those who have never planted rice cannot imagine how exhausting such a simple task can be. Your feet are submerged in cold, murky water, sinking into soft, muddy sludge. If you're unlucky, you might step on broken porcelain or sharp pebbles, cutting your soul. The entire day of work requires constant bending over, and by the end, you can't straighten up. The scariest part is not knowing if a water snake or other insects will emerge from the water, leaving your legs bitten and covered in wounds. I once saw a new female educated youth who had only been in the fields for 10 minutes before her legs were covered with leeches, and she fainted out of fear. It can be said that the days of rice planting are a nightmare for the female educated youths every year, but I listened to Zhao Jidong and went to plant rice for Qin Xiuemei every year. And I was scolded by Qin Xiuemei for only earning 8 work points instead of the full points for her. She only earned 4 work points for taking my place to gather pigweed. From then on, every time my period came, my stomach hurt as if being stabbed, making me break out in cold sweat and unable to do any work. Zhao Jidong saw it but thought I was being overly sensitive. Sure enough, after I refused, Zhao Jidong raised his voice and questioned, "How come? Did you get it wrong?" I sneered, "Zhao Jidong, you're a grown man, what's wrong with you?" Remembering the menstrual cycle of a female educated youth, Zhao Jidong glanced at Qin Xiuemei, and his cheeks slowly turned red. Qin Xiuemei said with a sob, "Sister Hongxia, please don't blame Jidong. It's just that I'm really not feeling well today. If you don't want to, it's fine, I can manage." She turned around, wiped her tears, and walked toward the field. Zhao Jidong quickly grabbed her and scolded me in a low voice, "Hongxia, why are you so petty? Xiuemei is working despite feeling unwell, and you're usually so healthy. What's the big deal about helping her?" I rolled my eyes. If she's not feeling well, she should just ask the team leader for leave. Qin Xiuemei turned around and lectured me, "Sister, how can you think like that? We educated youths came to the countryside to practice the spirit of dedication and build up the rural areas. Even though I'm not feeling well, I can't miss work. Labor is the most glorious." Zhao Jidong nodded approvingly. "Xiuemei is right, Hongxia, your ideological awareness isn't high enough. You should learn from her. This indomitable spirit of labor and dedication to the countryside." The two of them grew more and more excited, their cheeks flushing red. In my previous life, I must have been brainwashed by them like this, willingly becoming their stepping stone. I eagerly took on the hardest and most grueling tasks, with all the work points credited to Qin Xiuemei. While I crafted an image of her as selfless and passionate about labor, then, she even took away my chance to return to the city for work, leaving me stuck in the countryside for a lifetime. I took 2 steps back and quickly distanced myself from the two. I was reborn. This time, I only want to reclaim what's rightfully mine. After Zhao Jidong's death, I discovered a secret diary of his, detailing every moment of his relationship with Qin Xuemei. In his diary, I would receive a letter from my parents in about 3 days. My parents told me they had received news that they might be sent down, and asked me to go back. In my previous life, I was scared by the news of my parents being sent down and wanted Zhao Jidong to accompany me back. Zhao Jidong said he was worried about me going back, fearing I might be implicated, so he offered to go first to check the situation. He returned to the city with Qin Xuemei, and after half a month, he came back while Qin Xuemei stayed in the city. I secretly rejoiced that Qin Xuemei was gone. No one else stood between us, and maybe he would look at me a little more. Zhao Jidong came back and told me that when he returned to the city, my parents had already been sent down. He asked many people to inquire, but no one could find out where my parents had been sent. He also warned me not to return to the city, as I would be implicated if I did. I was so shocked by the news that I fell ill immediately. After recovering, I tried everything to find out about my parents, but to no avail. From then on, I never saw them again, which became a lifelong regret. What I didn't know was that Qin Xuemei had stayed in the city by taking my place. She even changed her name to Qin Hongxia, exactly the same as mine. It wasn't until later that she changed her name back to her original one. I quickly finished a basket of pigweed, went to see the team leader, secretly handed him several large pieces of brown sugar I had hidden, and also gave him an industrial coupon, asking him to write me a letter of introduction to return to the city. But the team leader said that he could only write me the letter of introduction after my parents' letter arrived. I felt helpless, but there was nothing I could do about it. After finishing several baskets of pigweed, I returned to the educated youths had just finished work, and everyone in the room lay on their beds, unwilling to move, only constantly pounding their aching backs and moaning. Only Qin Xuemei leaned against the bed, reading a book. Seeing me return, Qin Xuemei said softly, "Sister, you're back. Jidongge said he needs to see you. He wants you to go to the male-educated youth dormitory." I didn't want to go, but then I heard Zhao Jidong calling my name at the door, so I had to step outside. Zhao Jidong, visibly impatient, said to me, "Why are you only coming back now after gathering pigweed? Xuemei has been working hard all day. Don't you have brown sugar? Make her a cup of strong brown sugar water." I looked up at him and asked firmly, "Zhao Jidong, what is our relationship?" Zhao Jidong paused, frowning as he said, "Hongxia, can you stop causing trouble? Please, Xuemei didn't even swap jobs with you today, so why are you being so insistent? How long are you going to keep this up?" "I've been working in the fields all day, and I'm exhausted," I chuckled and said, "What does my tiredness have to do with you? Let me tell you, I'm not just not swapping jobs with her today, I won't tomorrow either, and never again." Zhao Jidong sighed and reached out to pat my shoulder. "Hongxia, you're overthinking again. I've told you, I just see her as my little sister. Seeing her reminds me of my younger sister who passed away early. She's still young. It's only right that we take care of her." I dodged his hand. "Zhao Jidong, I'm tired too. She's only 2 months younger than me. I can't take care of her." After saying that, I turned and left directly. The next day, the task assigned to me was to go up the mountain to chop wood. The male and female educated youths who were assigned to this job together were so happy they were on the verge of tears. Qin Xuemei, who was supposed to go transplanting rice seedlings, somehow swapped jobs with someone and came up the mountain with us. Before heading into the mountains, Zhao Jidong grabbed me again. "Hongxia, Xuemei is not very strong. Help her with climbing trees to chop firewood. She doesn't know how to tie the firewood with a leather strap, so help her tie it up. Try to tie some dry branches. She can't carry wet ones." I pulled my hand away. "Isn't Qin Xuemei here to build the vast countryside? Why does she need help everywhere? I can't take away her chance to work. That would be robbing her of her honor." Qin Xuemei stood beside me, biting her lip, then turned her head and firmly said to Zhao Jidong, "Jidong Gij, believe in me. Within my frail body lies an unyielding, strong soul. I am certain I can conquer this mountain." The older educated youths all kept their heads down and remained silent. The new educated youths were moved by her words and praised Qin Xuemei's excellent ideological awareness. A male educated youth criticized me, "Comrade Qin Hongxia, although labor is honorable, we are all builders of the countryside. We should help each other and progress together." I agreed wholeheartedly, praising him for being right, and asked him to help me carry half the firewood later. The others suppressed their laughter and quickly walked away. I had clearly told Qin Xuemei that I wouldn't help her, but when we went into the mountains, she still followed behind me. She probably thought I was still the same fool from my past life who would do all her work just because she cried a few times. As I reached the edge of a steep cliff, a memory suddenly came to mind. In my previous life, I broke my hand before receiving the letter. It was right here, all to save Qin Shuime. Thinking of this, an overwhelming rage surged within me. Qin Shuime, I gave you my all in my previous life, yet you didn't even bat an eye before stealing my job. That was an opportunity painstakingly planned by my parents for me. It was snatched away by these two scoundrels. I gripped the sickle tightly, turned my head, and glared at Qin Shuime. She was startled, lost her footing, and fell off the edge of the cliff. Fortunately, she grabbed a bush, but even so, half of her body was hanging in the air. On the verge of falling, Qin Shuime cried out desperately, calling to me, "Sister Hongxia, help, save me, quickly." I watched for a moment, then slowly set down my basket and sickle, calling out to the other educated youths, "Help!" Qin Shuime fell off the cliff. "Hurry, someone come quickly." When I heard the hurried footsteps, I crouched down and reached out to Qin Shuime. "Quick, grab my hand, I'll pull you up." Just as my hand was about to touch Qin Shuime, I didn't miss the flash of ruthlessness in her eyes. Her hand lunged fiercely at me. I jerked back, and she missed, falling down. The arriving educated youth happened to witness the moment when I stretched out my hand but failed to reach her. In my previous life, I could have pulled her up, but as she climbed, she used me as a stepping stone and dragged me down. Afterwards, she told everyone it was all an accident. She only got scratched by the bushes, while I broke my arm and got a gash on my face. This is why I didn't return to the city in time. Qin Shuime's luck was better than mine in my previous life. This time, she only broke her arm. Seeing her crying and being carried by Zhao Jidong toward the clinic, I couldn't help but say, "She only hurt her hand, not her leg. She can walk." Zhao Jidong, however, shouted at me, "Qin Hongxia, how did I tell you to take care of Shuime before she went up the mountain? You didn't take good care of her, let her break her arm, and didn't even go back to get the money to send her to the clinic. I'll deal with you later." Several educated youths all urged me, "Go quickly. Zhao Jidong only yelled at you because he cares so much about your sister." I said solemnly, "Qin Shuime is not my sister, nor is she my cousin. She just happens to share the same surname as me." After we went to the countryside, Zhao Jidong showed special care for Qin Shuime, and I also obliged her every request, which led many educated youths to assume that Qin Shuime was my real sister. The few educated youths looked at each other in confusion. I returned to the mountains to continue chopping firewood. In 2 more days, I'll be able to leave this place. Before that, I must work diligently. I can't let the team leader find fault with me. I'm afraid he won't give me the referral letter. After a tiring day, when I returned to the youth camp, Zhao Jidong blocked me at the door. "Why are you only coming back now? Don't you know Shuime's hand is broken? It's fractured." I coldly stared at him. "Of course I know. What about it? I didn't push her. She fell by herself." Zhao Jidong looked at me in disbelief. "Qin Hongxia, how could you be so heartless? Didn't you hear? Shuime's hand is broken." I pushed him aside and walked in. "What does that have to do with me? Just because her hand is hurt, do I not need to work? Do I have to take care of her?" I didn't expect that with just a light push. Zhao Jidong was shoved against the door, his head slamming heavily against the doorframe. He rolled his eyes and collapsed. I was stunned when I heard Qin Shuime scream, "Murder! Come quick!" Qin Hongxia killed brother Jidong. Ha, dead. I truly wish I could have killed Zhao Jidong and Qin Shuime myself, those despicable pair. Unfortunately, Zhao Jidong only bumped his head, not even a scratch, and he passed out for a while before waking up. The reason he fainted, I guess, was because he was exhausted from carrying Qin Shuime to the clinic today. Unfortunately, I guessed wrong. By the 3rd and 4th days, I still hadn't received a letter from my parents. Zhao Jidong wasn't hovering around me all day, nagging me to take care of Qin Shuime anymore. When I nervously went to the village office to wait for news, I ran into the captain, who waved me off, saying, "I've already issued the introduction letter to Zhao Jidong and Qin Shuime. I can't give you one. You're all together. 2 people going back is enough." I felt like I was falling into an abyss, and I ran toward the educated youth camp like a madman. Zhao Jidong was packing his things. I rushed forward, pushed him aside, grabbed the package, and frantically searched through it until I found the letter from my parents and his belongings. I held the letter and confronted him. "What is this? Why did you take the letter my parents sent me? Who gave you the right to take my letter?" "Zhao Jidong. Do you have any shame left?" Zhao Jidong's voice was calm, deep, like that of the husband who had been with me for 40 years in my previous life. He said, "Hongxia, you've also been reborn, haven't you?" I stared blankly into his eyes, and he said, "Hongxia, I know you're back, but Shuime needs this chance to return to the city more than you do. Hongxia, We've been lifelong companions. In this life, I will still marry you. A surge of endless anger and welled up inside me. Marry me. And then spend your life pining for another woman. Zhao Jidong frowned and said, I like your gentleness and virtue, and I love Shuemei's excellence and passion. Shuemei lived a lonely life, and I've been by your side all this time. Isn't that enough? I was stunned by Zhao Jidong's shamelessness. We've both been reborn, yet he still wants to marry me. If I hadn't seen the diary he wrote, I would have truly believed that Zhao Jidong and Qin Shuemei never crossed the line their entire lives. In fact, they did everything a married couple could do. While I was pregnant, giving birth, and recovering alone, Zhao Jidong used the excuse of further studies and overtime to spend time with Qin Shuemei. Hearing him say such things so confidently, I felt like vomiting. I coldly refused. Zhao Jidong, you are truly hypocritical. You've deceived me my entire life, and this time, I just want to stay far away from you. I never want to be involved again. I left the commune with the letter in hand. After much persuasion, I finally got the village head to write me a letter of introduction to return to the city. I immediately bought a train ticket back to the city, not daring to waste a single minute with the letter of introduction in hand. As expected, I ran into Zhao Jidong and Qin Shuemei on the train. Qin Shuemei and Zhao Jidong struggled to move forward through the crowded crowd. He had probably decided to keep Qin Shuemei in the city to find a job, packing all her belongings, which resulted in an enormous package. However, Qin Shuemei had injured her hand, and Zhao Jidong, who had lived a life of luxury all his life, probably found it difficult to adapt to the current overcrowded environment. Seeing me easily squeezed to the front and about to board the train, Zhao Jidong shouted loudly, Hongxia, help me, hurry up and help me with the bundle. I glanced back, saw him sweating profusely, chuckled lightly, and continued walking forward with ease. In my previous life, I stayed in the countryside, and when I had to squeeze onto a train with a child in my arms, I was far more disheveled than they are now. When I got home, the door was wide open, and the lock was gone. Most of the furniture inside the house is gone, leaving only gray marks in their place. Even the furniture that couldn't be moved has been smashed. Borrowing some tools, I quietly cleaned up. Thinking of the parents I had never seen in 2 lifetimes, a wave of sadness surged within me. Soon, Zhao Jidong arrived. He looked around my empty home and spoke in a low voice. Hongxia, don't be sad. I'll do my best to help you find your parents. My parents know you're back and want you to come over for dinner. Thinking of my kind in-laws from my past life, I nodded and followed Zhao Jidong back home. Our families used to have a good relationship, and the job referral letter left by my parents should still be with Zhao's father. I need to get it back. Zhao's parents were very warm towards me. Seeing my appearance, Zhao's mother couldn't help but shed tears. Good child, you've suffered. It's a pity you didn't get to see. Zhao's father quickly tugged at her sleeve. Zhao's mother hurriedly wiped away her tears. My eyes reddened slightly as I pulled Aunt Zhao aside. Auntie, do you know where my parents went? Aunt Zhao looked around cautiously and whispered in my ear. They say it's somewhere in the northwest, but no one knows exactly where. You know, at a time like this, we dare not ask too many questions. I was deeply grateful to hear that. At least it gave me a direction. I glared at Zhao Jidong. His mother clearly knew where my parents were headed, yet in his previous life, he told me nothing. After dinner, Uncle Zhao asked me to come inside and quietly handed me a job referral letter for a position at Haicheng Steelworks, about 400 or 500 kilometers from here. Uncle Zhao said, report as soon as possible. If you delay, things might change. Don't be afraid, no one there will know your identity, just say you're a distant niece of ours. I clutched the letter that would change my fate tightly, a wave of emotion washing over me, something that could have been changed with just a trip back home. But Zhao Jidong kept me in the dark for a lifetime. As Zhao's father was talking to me, Zhao Jidong suddenly pushed the door open and walked in, his face dark as he said, Dad, she can't have this letter of introduction. Zhao's father was stunned, and after a moment he said, Jidong, don't even think about it. This is a job opportunity that Hongxia's parents went to great lengths to secure for her. I know you want to return to the city, but don't rush. Your mother and I are already working on it. Zhao Jidong stared at me intently. Hongxia, tell me, should this job opportunity be given to you? You clearly know that this job would be better utilized in Shuemei's hands. Hongxia, you can't be so selfish. You need to think long-term. His voice was filled with a sense of oppression, causing me to involuntarily lower my head. In my previous life, as soon as he spoke in that tone, I would immediately admit my mistake, apologize to him, and obediently follow his orders. Seeing the introduction letter in my hand, I immediately raised my head. I don't owe him anything, neither in past lives nor this one, I said. Zhao Jidong, This is what my parents left me. Qin Shuimei is no relation of mine, so why does she think she has a right to this job? After a pause, I continued. If you think your sweetheart deserves this job, go and fight for it yourself, why come to me for it? Sweetheart, Zhao's mother was stunned. She glanced at Zhao Jidong and then at Qin Shuimei in the room. She stammered, Hongxia, you and Jidong, aren't you? How did Shuimei suddenly appear? Zhao's father had already understood. He raised his hand and slapped Zhao Jidong. Zhao Jidong, your old man is still here. Don't you dare try to take Hongxia's job opportunity. You don't care about your reputation, but I do, I sighed inwardly. In my previous life, Zhao Jidong must have exhausted all means to convince his parents to give this recommendation letter to Qin Shuimei. No wonder, in my previous life, the Zhao parents treated me so well, their eyes often filled with guilt. Thinking about this, I felt a chill. Even if they felt guilty towards me, they hid it for their own child their entire lives. After thanking the Zhao parents, I went home. I took out some simple bedding and planned to make do at home for the night. Although the door at home is broken, I am not afraid. In my previous life, all the other educated youths had left, and I was the only one left at the youth point, guarding an empty house, feeling lost and scared. I also had to be on guard against the local hooligans sneaking into my house. Back then, I often stayed awake all night, too afraid to sleep. In this familiar house, there are traces of my parents, so I don't feel lonely. With these thoughts, I slowly drifted off to sleep. Not long after, I was startled awake by a rustling sound. Before going to bed, the door I had blocked with a brick was being pushed open. Who? I demanded sharply. A dull male voice asked. Qin Hongxia. I quickly replied, that's me. A military green backpack was tossed through the crack in the door, followed by hurried footsteps leaving. By the dim light of a flashlight, I opened the backpack. Tears welled up when I saw the documents inside. No wonder. I clutched the bag, nearly going mad. Zhao Jidong, Qin Shuimei, you two are really something. Checkpoint 2. As soon as dawn broke, I grabbed my bag and left the house. Just as I turned the corner, I bumped into someone, and before I knew it, I had knocked them off their wheelchair. I quickly helped the person up and apologized repeatedly. I'm sorry, it's my fault for not watching where I was going. Are you hurt? Should we go to the hospital? As I helped the man up, I realized this was none other than Wang Jiangang, Qin Shuimei's husband from her previous life, a disabled veteran. He said coldly, it's fine, I should stay away from him. I should stay far away from anyone connected to Qin Shuimei or Zhao Jidong in my past life. Watching him push his wheelchair, I was reminded of his past life's fate, and a sense of shared sorrow as fellow outcasts washed over me. I stepped forward and pushed his wheelchair, saying, I have time, where do you want to go? I'll take you there. Wang Jiangang didn't say a word, just pointed in a direction. He was going to mail a letter, and so was I. On the way back, we remained silent the entire time. Only when I dropped him off at his house did I realize that our two homes were not far apart. As soon as I pushed open the door, I found Zhao Jidong and Qin Shuimei waiting in my house. My bundle had been rummaged through and was left in disarray. I demanded loudly, who let you into my house? Get out. Zhao Jidong's face showed some embarrassment as he defended. It wasn't us. When we arrived, those red guards had just left. I showed them the newspaper, and that's why they left. Qin Shuimei glared at me and said, Brother Jidong is always protecting you, and you really don't appreciate his kindness. I ignored her and asked Zhao Jidong, what newspaper? Upon closer inspection, I found that my parents had published a notice in the newspaper, disowning me as their daughter before their accident. A sharp pain struck my heart. My parents had truly exhausted themselves for my sake. In my previous life, I had so utterly betrayed their careful planning for me. At this thought, I glared at the two of them fiercely. What are you doing here? Qin Shuimei pouted. Sister Hongxia, my hand is injured, and it's partly your fault. I can't do heavy work anymore. If I go back to the countryside now, I'll die. Please, give me the job. Zhao Jidong nodded. Hongxia, I've told you. Shuimei needs this job more than you do. You're used to farm work in the countryside, and you can't adapt to city jobs. Be a good girl and give the job to Shuimei. I forced a smile. You think you can just ask for a steel mill job out of thin air? Qin Shuimei, am I your mother? Zhao Jidong, you're not related to me, so if you want the job, pay up. Last night I decided that if I take the job, I won't have time to look for my parents. Instead, returning to the countryside gives me more free time. Zhao Jidong was caught off guard when I asked for money right away. He looked at me in shock. Hongxia, you've changed. You've become so mercenary. I almost don't recognize you anymore. Don't forget, in our previous life, only Shuimei could make significant contributions to our country. how dare you make such demands? Don't you have any sense of patriotism at all? Reborn, he still tries to guilt-trip me, thinking of my past lives and that backpack from last night. Only then did I realize that all her talk of significant contributions and serving the country and the people were just excuses. All her so-called achievements were based on the materials left by my parents. Filled with rage, I slapped Zhao Jidong twice. When Qin Xuemei tried to pull me away, I grabbed her hair and slapped her several more times, beat her up until she looks like a pig's head. In her past life, she stole from my parents, refused to treat me well, and even tried to take everything I had. I screamed at the top of my lungs, why not? You two are thieves, stealing my identity, my job, my entire life. Zhao Jidong seemed frightened by my behavior, pushed me away, and helped Qin Xuemei walk out. As he reached the door, he asked unwillingly, how much do you want to give the job to Xuemei? I spoke indifferently, 3,000 yuan, plus 20 industrial coupons and 100 grain coupons. Qin Xuemei exclaimed, that much? Why don't you just rob a bank? I snorted coldly, if you don't want it, that's fine, I'll give you a maximum of 2 days. I knew Zhao Jidong would agree to it no matter what, all for Qin Xuemei. As for where he got the money, that's none of my business. The next day, the Red Guards came again, rummaged through my luggage, and tried to kick me out. I quickly packed my things and left the house. At this moment, with the vast sky and earth, I suddenly feel there's no place that feels like home. I mustered up my courage and knocked on Wang Jianeng's door. That backpack, I secretly placed it under his wheelchair after I knocked him over. Wang Jianeng's mother opened the door, looking at me with a puzzled expression. I awkwardly spoke up, Auntie, I'm from the Qin family next door, my parents. We can't stay at home anymore. Could I possibly stay at your place for a couple of days? I'll leave after 2 days. Before Auntie Wang could say anything, a voice from the courtyard said, sure. I was startled and nervously walked in. In the courtyard, Wang Jiangang seemed to be carving something wooden. The wheelchair was surrounded by wood shavings, and Wang warmly arranged a separate bedroom for me, which left me feeling overwhelmed with gratitude. As Aunt Wang left, I went to the courtyard, looked at him, and wondered how to start the conversation. When he said, are you here for that backpack? I was startled, but after a moment, I decided to be honest with him. Yes, could you please keep that backpack for me for a couple of days? I thought, he's a soldier who fought in battles and was injured in the line of duty, so most people wouldn't dare to mess with him. Keeping things with him is the safest option. Wang Jiangang was silent for a moment. What's in the bag? I quickly told him that these were some documents left to me by my parents. To get him to agree, I even took the backpack out from under his wheelchair and opened it for him to see. He watched me retrieve the backpack without any surprise, likely knowing when I put it there. I was betting that he was a soldier who fought with guns and had no clue about these things. Sure enough, he quickly flipped through it and handed the backpack back to me, saying, keep it yourself. I breathed a sigh of relief. Zhao Jidong came knocking on the 3rd day. Seeing that I had moved into Wang Jianeng's house, he pulled me out, his face dark, and pointed at the Wang's front door. He lowered his voice but couldn't hide his raging anger. Qin Hongxia, you're truly shameless. You clearly know he's Xuemei's husband, yet you deliberately approached him. Are you trying to get back at Xuemei? Huh. I pushed his hand away. Shameless? Can anyone be more shameless than you? Since you know we've both been reborn, why do you still expect me to sacrifice for your beloved? Zhao Jidong, you ruined my life once. Do you want to ruin this one too? You call me shameless, but it's only because I'm not willing to be your workhorse. Zhao Jidong, you cheated on Qin Xuemei in your previous life. Don't think I don't know. What right do you have to accuse me now? If you want to buy the job, bring the money. If not, get lost. Zhao Jidong's face turned red with anger, and veins bulged on his forehead. In my past life, I would have worried if he might have a stroke from anger, but now, seeing him like this, I only feel a sense of satisfaction. He pulled a bankbook, some cash, and a few receipts out of his pocket, his face ashen. Count it, 3,000 yuan. It's all here. I opened the bankbook and saw 400 yuan inside. The rest of the money, in small amounts, added up to exactly 600 yuan. And those receipts, they were exactly what I needed. He gritted his teeth and said, I can't gather that many industrial coupons, so I'll have to make up the difference with grain coupons. It'll be more, not less. I nodded. I had asked for these sums and coupons with my eyes wide open. I never expected Zhao Jidong to go this far for Qin Xuemei. I guess this must be all the Zhao family's savings. I tucked away the passbook and handed the job referral letter to Zhao Jidong. Here you go. From now on, we're strangers. Zhao Jidong let out a cold laugh. You'll regret this. He walked away with the referral letter, head held high. I can't wait to see his expression when he finds out that Qin Shuime is just a thief who plagiarizes others' work. I left $100 to express my gratitude for the Wang family's hospitality. As I was about to leave, Wang Jiangang blocked the door. "Where are you going?" I told him I had to return to the place where I had been sent to the countryside, and he then stepped aside. As I said goodbye to him, he looked at me with an inexplicable expression, which made me feel a bit strange. I soon realized what he meant by the look in his eyes. To my surprise, he followed me to the village where I was sent to the countryside and even rented a courtyard from a villager. It was only then that I understood. He was skimming through those documents quickly, not because he didn't understand them, but precisely because he did. Given that, I simply left the backpack in his courtyard. Now that I have enough money and tickets, this wealth is enough to support me for 4 or 5 years. After returning to the countryside, I was fortunate to take leave and not go to work. I dove into the house rented by Wang Jiangang and began studying the materials my parents left me. My parents were both weapons experts, and they left behind some documents and blueprints, some of which were finished products and some were half-finished. These materials are quite disorganized, and I need to patiently sort through them. Half a month later, I finished organizing the first set of materials and handed them to Wang Jiangang. It was an improved version of the Type 56 submachine gun. Holding the blueprint, Wang Jiangang simply agreed with a simple okay. He went out alone for a day and upon returning, asked me, "What else? What do you want?" "I can't answer that. I recall my past life, where Qin Shuime, someone who had never been exposed to weapons, became an expert in weaponry and improved many military devices. After that, she never published any other achievements. I thought she had exhausted her energy, but it turned out that the drawings and data left by my parents had run out. In my past life, she took my identity. The person who was helping my parents store things mistook her for me. Only then did they hand the items over to her." I told Wang Jiangang, "There are still many things here that the country needs, and I can organize them quickly. I hope you can help me find my parents. They are the ones who wrote these materials." Wang Jiangang was silent for a moment, then nodded. "I'll do my best." From the moment he appeared in the village, I knew his identity was not simple, far more than just a disabled veteran. I spent day and night at Wang Jianong's house, not even knowing when Zhao Jidong had returned. When I met him by the roadside, he coldly said to me, "Qin Hongxia, even if you were to live another life, you can't be so shameless. You don't work in the fields, always running to the homes of male comrades. Do you even have any self-respect left?" I ignored him. "I've indeed heard some rumors lately." I ran straight to the captain and said, "Captain, I know the team members are unhappy because I haven't been working in the fields recently, and they've even started gossiping about me, but I have my reasons, and I'm not just sitting idle. I'm helping a retired comrade from the Glorious People's Liberation Army with his rehabilitation exercises so he can stand up again and return to the battlefield as soon as possible." The captain jumped up in surprise. "What? You can help the PLA comrade recover? How is he doing now?" I hesitated and said, "Of course, there's nothing visible yet, Captain. You know how it is, illness comes like an avalanche, but recovery is like pulling silk. It's only been half a month, so what can you expect? But I'm willing to guarantee, under military orders, that we'll see results within 3 months. I just hope the captain can let me work less in the fields, and also ask the captain to clarify for me that I am completely innocent with the..." When I returned to Wang Jianong's home again, he hesitated for a while and said to me, "You told the villagers that you're here to help me with my recovery. That excuse isn't good. This lie will easily be exposed in half a year." I continued to look through the documents without raising my head. "I didn't say anything wrong. Starting from today, I'll be helping you with your rehabilitation. In my previous life, Zhao Jidong suffered from cerebral palsy for 3 years. It was from a master of traditional Chinese medicine that I learned how to perform acupuncture, moxibustion, and massage. After a full year of treatment, I restored him from a state of facial distortion to full recovery. From my observation, Wang Jiangang has no external injuries elsewhere, but he can't walk. It's likely that the injury is in his brain, caused by a blood clot pressing on the nerves. It's similar to Zhao Jidong's condition of cerebral palsy back then. Now, except during particularly busy farming seasons, I go to work, but the rest of the time, I spend in Wang Jianong's room. Now, no one says anything about it anymore." As I was handing over most of the organized materials from my bag, Wang Jiangang told me he had news about my parents, and his people were trying to help rescue them. I ran joyfully toward him but accidentally fell into his arms. When I got up from his embrace, we both felt a bit awkward, but then a loud shout came from the doorway. "Qin Hongmei, Wang Jiangang, what are you doing?" I stood up, touched my flushed cheeks, and said, "What does it have to do with you?" Wang Jianong's face turned cold. "This is my home, and you're not welcome here. Please leave." Zhao Jidong stormed off in a rage. On my way back to the educated youth point, he stopped me. "Hongxia, I was wrong. Only now do I realize how much you mean to me. Hongxia, we've been through 40 years of ups and downs together. Those feelings we had, our warm home. And our children, can you really forget all of that? Hongxia, don't be mad at me anymore. Okay, let's make up. I promise you, this time I'll definitely let you go back to the city first. The job my parents found for me, I'll give it to you. Please don't leave me." "Okay." Seeing you with other men, I realized I love you. I can't stand it. Seeing you by the side of other men, I slapped him. "Zhao Jidong, you're not worthy of talking about love with me. I was unlucky in my previous life to meet you, and I was blind to have loved you. Zhao Jidong, the harm you once caused me, I will never forgive you." Zhao Jidong gazed at me intently. "Hongxia, you'll see my sincerity. I'm the one who knows you best in this world." Zhao Jidong has changed, becoming a bit neurotic. He has become fond of listening to the radio and reading newspapers. When the newspapers reported that our country's domestically developed Type 56 had started production, he was so excited that he started dancing around. He ran up to me with the newspaper. "Hongxia, my choice was right. Look, Xiuemei really developed it, and this time it's a full 6 months ahead of schedule compared to my previous life." I looked at him with a half smile. "Yes, it's been advanced by half a year, but take a good look. Who is the researcher?" Zhao Jidong continued to smile and said, "Of course it's Xiuemei, Qin." "Hongxia." He widened his eyes in disbelief. "How could it be your name?" "Qin Hongxia, you actually stole Xiuemei's research. You're so shameless. Even if you steal it this time, how long can you keep it? You're just a housewife. She's the pillar of the nation." I walked past him and said, "You're also blind and heartless." Zhao Jidong has returned to the city again, probably to confirm the news with his so-called pillars of the nation. However, I no longer care about these. Only half of the materials left by my parents are available, and I need to learn more knowledge to complete them. Staying in the countryside would only be reinventing the wheel. So, Wang Jigong took me back to the army. With my help, he is now able to stand for short periods. Here, I met my parents, and what broke my heart was that Wang Jigong's men found them too late. My parents were tortured to the brink of death. I only listed my name when submitting the research results to protect my parents, not mentioning them. To ensure my parents received better treatment, I had to achieve more. I spent day and night in the factory and laboratory. 3 years later, my parents finally regained their health, and I also made further improvements based on their research materials. In her previous life, Qin Xiuemei achieved remarkable success and shined brightly. Compared to her, I felt like an ugly duckling. Fortunately, back then, I memorized all her research meticulously. That's why in this life, I was able to refine these materials so quickly. I accompanied my parents back home. The house has been repaired, and we can move back in any time. When Zhao Jidong heard I was back, he ran frantically to my door and banged on it. "Hongxia, Hongxia, open up. I know you're back." I reluctantly went out, and as soon as Zhao Jidong saw me, he exclaimed excitedly, "Hongxia, I'm sorry, I didn't know Qin Xiuemei had stolen your things. I'm sorry, I misjudged her, Hongxia. I've already broken up with Qin Xiuemei. She's a liar. She deceived me. She never tells the truth. She forced me to marry her, but I refused. Hongxia, I know I was wrong. Can you forgive me? I've been waiting for you to come back these past 3 years. Hongxia, I can't live without you. I need you," he said passionately to me. I let out a cold laugh. "Zhao Jidong, if it weren't for you helping her take my job, how could she have had the chance to deceive you? You were the one who fell in love with her first and always favored her. Zhao Jidong, I told you, don't ever show up in front of me again. Besides, I already have a fiancé. Please stop bothering me." I pulled Wang Jiangang, who had just arrived at my door, over. With Wang Jianong's bewildered gaze on me, I mustered my courage and said, "Jiangang and I are in a military marriage. Disrupting a military marriage is a crime that lands you in jail." Zhao Jidong left in a state of utter despair. After he left, Wang Jiangang turned and walked away. I quickly asked, "Where are you going?" Wang Jianong's voice, filled with mirth, reached me. "I'm going to file for our marriage report." Story 2. I stared blankly at him, bandaged from head to toe on the bed, as he croaked at me, "Jiang Qiutong, are you deaf?" I said I want water. I didn't react and just stood there. Qingjing started to lose it emotionally again, just like in my previous life. "I knew you were all faking it. You don't really love me. You'll leave me too. Just like them. Get out, Jiang Qiutong. I don't need you. Get out." He cursed at me with red eyes. and only then did I snap back to reality. Looking at this familiar hospital room and the crippled man lying on the bed, I realized I had been reborn. In my previous life, Qingjing had a car accident. The doctors said his legs were ruined, with little chance of recovery, and he might be confined to a wheelchair for life. His foster parents, hearing the news, abandoned him on the spot, planning to adopt another boy to raise. Before the accident, Qingjing's prospects were bright, with a promotion imminent and a decent amount of savings, but after the accident, all the money went into surgeries. By the time he was saved, Qingjing had lost everything: his career, his parents, his friends, all had abandoned him. At that time, only I stepped forward to stay by his side. Back then, I was a hopelessly foolish romantic. Because I loved Qingjing, so I pitied him. I accompanied him every day between the company and the hospital, sleeping for almost only 3 hours a day, using the rest of the time to take care of Qingjing and earn money to treat his legs. I believed he could recover, accompanying him through gradual treatment and rehabilitation, from legs that couldn't move to having sensation, then being able to get out of bed and walk with support, until he fully recovered. During this period, the effort I put in was no less than Qingjing's. I thought we had finally made it through, but after Qingjing recovered, he directly broke up with me and went to live with his wealthy biological parents, taking his ex-girlfriend with him. I will never forget the look of disgust in his eyes. Jian Qiutong, with the huge gap in our status now, do you really think you're still worthy of me? Remembering the events of my past life, I couldn't stop trembling. Seeing Qingjing still yelling, I stepped forward to pour him a cup of hot water. As I handed the water to Qingjing, I stumbled, and the scalding hot water directly splashed onto him. The ward was filled with a pig-like scream, and I pretended to be flustered as I grabbed tissues to help him wipe it off. I didn't do it on purpose. Qingjing, are you okay? Qingjing was in so much pain that tears streamed down his face, and he cursed at me. Call the doctor, call the doctor. When the doctor came to check, Qingjing's skin was peeling off from the burn. After treating it, I looked at him with tears in my eyes, full of concern. Do you want some more water? Qingjing called me a pig, saying he'd never dare let me pour water for him again, and called the nurse for help, still cursing. I've never seen someone as stupid as you. What good are you? I listened to Qingjing's insults expressionlessly, and even the nurse couldn't stand it, telling him not to speak to me that way. Even a bystander could see how badly Qingjing treated me. But in my past life, I was like possessed, thinking his erratic behavior was due to post-traumatic stress disorder, unable to cope with the blow, which is why he became so moody. I endured his volatile temper, as even the smallest thing would cause Qingjing to lose control, shouting and screaming, saying he might as well be dead, that life held no meaning. During his outbursts, he would hurl the most vicious insults at me, ordering me around. Just as I was on the verge of breaking down emotionally, he would switch faces, tearfully apologizing to me, saying he couldn't help himself, that he didn't mean what he said, and that he regretted hurting me so deeply. Every time, I would be deceived by his sweet talk and start to feel sorry for him, believing that if Qingjing's leg could heal, his mood would improve, and we could return to how we used to be. But when he actually recovered, he revealed his true self. Everything had been an act. Even during our relationship, he had cheated on me with his ex-girlfriend, reigniting their old flame for over a month. Just as he was about to break up with me, Qingjing got into an accident, and his ex-girlfriend fled. With no one to take care of him, he started manipulating me, puaing me, using me, and then discarding me. His most common line to me was, "If you leave, I'll kill myself." Because of that one sentence, I endured unimaginable pressure, almost driven to depression. Qingjing's moral blackmail was highly effective. I didn't dare leave him, and taking care of him had somehow become a responsibility. After he finished yelling at me, he naturally resorted to his usual tactic. "Qiutong, are you angry?" He pursed his lips, his well-dressed face showing a look of self-reproach and guilt. "I'm sorry, I spoke too harshly just now. I really don't know what came over me, how I could say such things. That's not what I meant. I'm just so overwhelmed, with no outlet to vent. You're the best to me. How could I treat you like this? I can't stand myself like this. If that car had just killed me outright, it would have saved you from all this." As she pretended to cry, I blurted out, "Then go ahead and die." He froze, unable to keep up the act, and looked up at me, his face completely dry of tears. "What did you say?" "It's nothing, Qingjing, don't think that way. Everything will be fine. I'll always be here with you." I changed my expression and looked at him with heartache. Qingjing was deeply moved and held my hand, saying a lot of things, then brought up his real intention. "Qiutong, how much is this week's medical fee? I've run out of money in my card. Can you lend me some?" "What are you talking about? My money is your money. Of course, I'll help you pay." I'll go to the bank tomorrow to withdraw money and then pay the hospital bill. Seeing his goal achieved, Qingjing excitedly said, Qiu Tong, you're too kind. Once my leg gets better, I'll never let you suffer any. I sneered inwardly and found an excuse to leave the hospital. Qingjing knew I had hundreds of thousands in savings. In my previous life, he had also tricked me into thinking he had no money and made me pay for him. I believed him, only to later find out he still had money but didn't want to pay, hoping I'd be the one to foot the bill for him. The next day, instead of going to the hospital, I called Qingjing. I've met a miracle doctor who can cure people with just a few acupuncture needles. Qingjing, I won't be coming to the hospital these next couple days, wait for me. I'm going to bring this doctor to treat your leg. There's hope for your recovery now. Qingjing sounded utterly astonished on the phone, clearly skeptical, but my fervor sparked a glimmer of hope in him. Well, go check it out then. Just keep me posted. For 3 days, I didn't contact him. He carried on with his routine, work, home, repeat. Truth was, I hadn't sought any miracle doctor. Instead, I'd been scouring the internet for Qingjing's biological parents. Anyone privy to my situation would wonder why I'd go through all this trouble instead of simply abandoning Qingjing to his fate. But mere abandonment would only offer fleeting satisfaction. It wouldn't begin to quell my seething resentment. In our past life, once Qingjing's leg healed, his fortunes flipped overnight, though his adoptive parents cast him aside. His biological family emerged from the shadows. Turned out he was the long-lost heir to a wealthy dynasty. Misplaced as a child, his affluent relatives had spent over 2 decades searching before finally reclaiming him. Qingjing's biological parents were heartbroken to learn of all the suffering he had endured. Not only did they buy him cars and houses, but they also handed over their company to him to manage, making him the talk of the town for a while. I was initially happy for him, thinking that fate had finally smiled upon us. Little did I expect that not only would Qingjing break up with me, but he would also bring his ex-girlfriend to meet his parents, attributing the things I had done to her. His biological parents were deeply moved and quickly arranged their wedding. They were happy and content, but I was left with nothing, my mind in a daze. On the day of their wedding, I failed to notice the traffic and was hit by a car, dying in the process. Consumed by hatred, fate granted me a second chance. For the one who caused my death, I longed to tear him apart, limb from limb. My departure would only bring him temporary pain. Once his biological parents found him, even if he were paralyzed, he would live a life of luxury, with everything handed to him on a silver platter. The thought of this made my entire body tremble uncontrollably. What I wanted was for Qingjing to suffer for a lifetime. Struggling in constant unease, I wanted to make him suffer endlessly, to make him wish he were dead. After a few days had passed, I finally contacted Qingjing. I hadn't answered any of his calls during that time. As soon as I called, he exploded in a rage, cursing at me. Jiang Qiutong, where the hell have you been? The hospital has been calling multiple times about the medical fees. Where are you? Not even a single call back. How could you be so selfish, leaving me alone in the hospital? Listening to his tirade, I clenched my thigh, tears welling up instantly. Sobbing, I said, Qingjing, I was deceived. I just got my phone back. It's not that I didn't want to contact you, I almost didn't make it back at all. Hearing this, he was stunned on the other end. What? That so-called miracle doctor was a fake. I followed that scammer to his hometown, and there was no miracle doctor there at all. Just a quack. I was so desperate to heal your leg that I transferred all the money I had to them. We were supposed to go to the hospital the next day to treat your leg, but the next day, they were all gone, and they even stole my phone. I barely made it back and contacted you as soon as I could. Qingjing almost fainted on the phone. What? You gave them all your money? Yes, I walked all the way back, and it took me a day and a night. Are you a pig? How could you fall for that? Didn't I tell you to call me? Are you doing this on purpose? Is it that you just don't want to pay me? Jiang Qiutong, are you trying to drive me crazy? I listened to Qingjing on the other end of the phone, smashing things in anger, his tone as if I had spent all his money, making me feel sick. When we got to the hospital, Qingjing indeed broke down emotionally, cursing me wildly. I cried and said, I didn't want this either. Qingjing, I just wanted so badly to heal your leg. I never expected it to turn out like this. What should we do now? I have no money left. How will we pay the medical bills? I cried so hard I could barely breathe. Wiping my tears as I sobbed, I really can't do anything right. I might as well be dead. Qingjing, let's just die together. Then we won't have to suffer like this. Come, let me help you up. Let's jump off a building together. Qingjing's method really worked. I used a bit of it on him, and he was stunned, struggling. Are you crazy? Jiang Qiutong, calm down. There's still a chance for things to turn around. What's the breakthrough? We have no money left, what about your leg? I'm too ashamed to live, I continued to cry. Chungjing, looking pale, reluctantly spoke up. I borrowed some money from a friend for the medical fees, and it's already been paid. 2 days ago, when I left, it was already the final deadline for payment. Chungjing couldn't reach me, so he had to pay up front himself. He didn't want me to know he had money and was still lying to me. Which friend? I must express my gratitude properly, I asked deliberately. Chungjing stammered and couldn't answer. Anyway, you don't know him. I promised him I'd definitely pay him back next month. You'd better think of a way to get the money back. I told Chungjing that I had already reported it to the police, and they were investigating. Once they catch the person, the money will be returned. Anyway, he's lying in the hospital and can't move, so he won't know the specifics. He can make promises. And so can I. I said that once we get all the money back, it will all be used for Chungjing. Chungjing was very happy with what I said and kept asking me about the whereabouts of the scammer every day. Before Chungjing could hope for that money, the doctor approached us. There's an expert from abroad coming to our hospital recently. He has a 70% chance of curing Chungjing's leg. As long as we can come up with enough money for the surgery, there's hope for Chungjing's leg. Originally, my savings plus Chungjing's savings were just enough for the surgery. In my previous life, I was so naive that I gave everything I had to pay for his leg treatment. The surgery was successful, and with post-operative rehabilitation, Chungjing was soon able to stand up. But now, my money has been scammed away, and Chungjing can't come up with that much either. We simply can't gather enough money. During this period, Chungjing's emotions became even more unstable, and he went crazy in the hospital all day. I used the excuse of helping him borrow money and couldn't be bothered to go to the hospital. By the time the doctor returned home, we still hadn't raised enough money. Chungjing was smashing things wildly, his eyes bloodshot. And he was roaring from his throat, "It's all your fault, it's all your fault. If it weren't for you, this idiot, I would have had the money for surgery. I could have stood up. Why don't you die, you useless piece of trash? Why am I lying in bed? Why not you?" This time, Chungjing wasn't pretending. His emotions had truly collapsed. If it weren't for his inability to move his legs, I felt he would have gotten out of bed to kill me. When the nurses tied him to the bed and he couldn't move, I walked over and held his hand. "Chungjing, this is all my fault. I will take responsibility for you. Let's get married, and I will take care of you for the rest of my life." Chungjing almost couldn't wait to agree. After all, who wouldn't want to tie such a foolish woman to take care of him? After getting married, even if I regretted it and wanted to back out, it wouldn't be that easy. Watching the calculation and greed in his eyes, I suspect he's already planned to latch onto me for life. In his mind, I'm a foolish woman hopelessly in love with him, so much so that even with his crippled leg, I still adore him. He thinks he's incredibly charming and struts around even more each day. After we got our marriage certificate, Chungjing seemed to feel at ease and stopped pretending. He treated me like a servant, ordering me around every day. I hired 3 caregivers for him, using the excuse that I had 2 jobs and couldn't find time to go to the hospital. Even with a crippled leg and limited mobility, Chungjing still had plenty of romantic ideas. He complained that the caregivers were middle-aged women who weren't efficient, insisting I find young girls for him to choose from. He picked ones who were young, pretty, and slender, at a cost of 10,000 yuan each per month, totaling 30,000 yuan. He felt no guilt using my money, and watching him live so carefree, I smirked inwardly. "Chungjing, I wonder if you'll still be so smug in a while. And if you'll regret marrying me." I posted our wedding photos online and recounted the entire car accident story, how his foster parents abandoned him, and how his girlfriend, unwavering, not only stayed but even got married, vowing to care for her disabled boyfriend for life. Some people online called me foolish, but most praised and admired me, as few could do what I did. I uploaded photos of Chungjing, his birthmarks, and even his childhood experience of getting lost. Within 3 days, someone called me, very excited, and we discussed a meeting time. On the day of the meeting, I went to the agreed-upon cafe and saw Chungjing's biological parents, dressed in luxurious attire. Their silver hair couldn't hide their poised and noble demeanor. "Hello, Miss Jiang, Chungjing might be our biological son, and we would like to meet him." The two were on the verge of tears, and I looked wary. They showed me a lot of evidence, including childhood photos of Chungjing and the red birthmark on the back of his neck, exactly the same as it was when he grew up. "Can you tell us which hospital Chungjing is in now? We want to see him." Faced with their urgent inquiries, my eyes welled up. "Chungjing is going through a tough time right now. If we can't confirm you are his biological parents, I can't take you to see him. I'm afraid it would be a false hope." And it would only make him feel worse, Mr. and Mrs. Ching expressed their understanding and said they could wait for the paternity test results before confirming their relationship with Qingjing, but the couple was too eager to meet their son first. I smirked and came up with an idea. Why don't you two pretend to be hospital orderlies for the interview? That way, you can see him. The two immediately agreed with joy, assuring they wouldn't blow their cover. I sent a message to Qingjing. Qingjing, a caregiver for 10,000 yuan a month is too expensive. I brought 2 new caregivers to see you. They only charge 3,000 yuan. After sending the message, I had them change into caregiver uniforms and remove their jewelry. Sure enough, they looked like 2 ordinary elderly people. I took Mr. and Mrs. Ching to the hospital. As soon as I pushed the door open, Qingjing threw a cup at us, which shattered against the wardrobe. He roared, "Jiang Qiutong, you're the one who wanted to marry me. You're not taking good care of me, and now you're bringing these 2 poor old people here. I told you, I don't want middle-aged women or old men, they're disgusting. Can't you listen to me?" Qingjing was extremely irritable. "Get them out of here. I only want the one for 10,000 yuan a month. Are you just trying to save money by hiring these 2 decrepit old folks to take care of me? Do they even know how to work? You just can't stand the thought of my leg getting better, can you?" Qingjing's tirade left Mr. and Mrs. Ching stunned, their eyes filled with disbelief. "Qingjing, how could you say that? They came all the way here specially, and this is how you treat them," I said with deep regret, and Qingjing started smashing things again, grabbing a cup and throwing it directly at his father's head. "Ah!" His father cried out in pain, clutching his head, and I quickly helped him up. "Qingjing, are you crazy? Can't we talk things out? How could you hurt someone like that? Who told you to bring them here? Those poor people think they can take care of me. They deserve it." Qingjing scared his parents so badly that they lost all thought of seeing their son and quickly ran out of the room. I took Qingjing's parents to get their wounds treated, showing great concern and self-blame, constantly apologizing. They kept waving their hands, saying it was nothing, not my fault. But I still felt deeply guilty. After finishing treating the wound, in the hospital corridor, my eyes were red, my shoulders shaking, and I covered my mouth. "I'm sorry, really sorry. Since the car accident, Qingjing has become like this, insisting on having a caregiver who costs 10,000 yuan a month, and he wants me to hire 3 of them. I only earn a little over 10,000 yuan a month at work, and to make him comfortable, I have to take on 2 jobs." After I finished speaking, Chang's parents hugged me with heartache. And Chang's mother started crying along with me, not knowing if she was crying over the gap between fantasy and reality, or if she was afraid of what would happen if this person really turned out to be their son. I gave them Qingjing's hair, and before leaving, I heard them self-hypnotizing. "This definitely isn't our son. Our son is very well behaved. How could he be like this, cursing and smashing things like a madman?" I smiled and saw them off, and the 2 stayed at a hotel nearby. During the wait for the paternity test, I often went to their place to bring them things. "It's not easy for you to come here, and it's not good for you to eat out at your age. Since I'm making food anyway, I'll bring you a portion." I said it was for Qingjing and also for them, but in reality, I only prepared 2 portions, and Qingjing wasn't even part of it. The couple was moved by me and held my hand, pouring out their hearts. "You should leave that madman. He doesn't love you at all. He'll only drag you down." I pretended to be conflicted and in pain. "But if I leave, he says he'll kill himself. I really can't do that. I can't just watch a life end. You're just too kind. And he's taking advantage of that to hurt you so easily." The 2 of them felt sorry for me and were moved by my careful care. "If only you were our own daughter. We can't find our son, and we have no child by our side." With tears in my eyes, I held Mrs. Chang's hand. "If you're willing, of course, you can treat me as your own daughter. My parents divorced, each with their own families, and I'm a child without a home." They hugged me, crying, "Good child, if you have any difficulties, just tell us. All we can give you is money, in just a few days." I had opened their hearts and bridged the gap between us. A few days later, the paternity test results came out. They called me, their voices devoid of joy, only a resigned disappointment. "Qiutong, the results are in. Qingjing is our biological son." No matter how much they didn't want to admit it, Qingjing was their biological son. When the 2 of them came to claim him with the paternity test, Qingjing thought they were just 2 poor orderlies. "You're kidding, right? My real parents are the hospital's orderlies." I stepped forward with a smile and explained, "Qingjing, you've got it wrong. that day, Mom and Dad dressed up specially to come see you. They're not orderlies at all. Qingjing's face turned pale and then red, especially when he learned about the family background of Cheng's parents. The greed in his eyes was impossible to hide. Mom and Dad, I wasn't like that day. I don't know what happened to me. Since I got sick, I've been unable to control myself, and I didn't want to do that. Dad, are you okay? Qingjing looked at the two with a mixture of regret and concern, and the expressions of Cheng's parents stiffened as they said, "It's okay." The smile at the corner of my mouth deepened. Qingjing, how could you not know that I had already told them about your tricks? From an outsider's perspective, the couple immediately recognized that Qingjing was putting on an act with his words. Qiutong, you're so naive. How could he not know what he's doing? He just knows you won't leave, so he hurts you so casually. The apology afterwards isn't sincere, and he'll do it again next time. The reunion wasn't as joyful as it could have been due to past misunderstandings, and to make matters worse, Qingjing had the shameless look of someone trying to make a quick buck, which was truly disgusting. Mom and Dad, I want to go to a big hospital to treat my leg. Also, Qiutong hasn't had much good in her life with me, so could you give me some money to buy her something? Qingfu sighed. Don't worry about the money. I'll send some to Qiutong. She really is a good girl. We'll get your leg treated, and we'll transfer you to another hospital tomorrow. You've both been through so much. While Qingfu and Qingmu were out discussing matters, Qingjing continued to blame me. You did this on purpose, didn't you? Jiang Qiutong, my real parents showed up. And you didn't even tell me. Were you just trying to embarrass me? He kept cursing at me, and when Qingfu and Qingmu came back in, I deliberately raised my voice. How can you say that about me? I didn't tell you because I was afraid it would upset you. I was doing it for your own good. How could you think I wanted to embarrass you? My eyes welled up, and Cheng's father frowned, stepping forward to defend me. Pretending to be a caregiver was our idea, mine and your dad's. Don't blame Qiutong. She didn't do anything wrong. Qingjing could only swallow his words, glaring at me with resentment. Cheng's parents settled all the medical and caregiver fees, then transferred Qingjing to a major hospital to treat his leg. But due to the prolonged delay, even with money, Qingjing's leg couldn't be cured, and he would be confined to a wheelchair for life. I knew this from my previous life when the doctor pulled me aside and whispered, if surgery isn't done now, it's too late, and it won't get better later. That's why in my previous life, I bit the bullet and used all my money to treat Qingjing's leg. Now that the optimal treatment time has been missed, Qingjing's dream of standing up is shattered. When he learned the news, it was like a bolt from the blue, the same crushing sense of disparity he felt when he first realized he was crippled, with money, yet still unable to stand. He felt utterly worthless. I pushed the wheelchair, comforting Qingjing, each word piercing his heart. It's okay, Qingjing. I'll take care of you for the rest of your life, even if you're disabled and can't stand. It's fine, I'll always be with you. Don't care about others' opinions, you're the best. I had just finished comforting him, and Qingjing indeed broke down, shouting on his wheelchair, who asked you to take care of me? Jiang Qiutong, if you had taken out the money back then, I wouldn't be crippled. My life shouldn't be like this. It's all because of you. It's all because you've ruined me like this. He started raging impotently again. I coldly watched him until his parents arrived. I immediately changed my demeanor and started crying, about to kneel down to him. Qingjing, it's all my fault, every bit of it. It's all because I couldn't borrow the money. Even if I had given all my money, it wouldn't have been enough. I should have borrowed from loan sharks back then. I didn't kneel. As Cheng's father pulled me up, that's enough, Qingjing. Qiutong doesn't owe you anything. She's done everything she could. It's more than enough. Stop being so aggressive. They pulled me up and comforted me not to cry. Qingjing widened his eyes, seemingly unable to understand how I suddenly switched to crying. He could only swallow his words and apologize to me, his face dark, ever since his parents arrived. Every time Qingjing said something to me, I would cry. And then his parents would scold him. Over time, Qingjing didn't dare to say anything to me anymore. The resentment he felt every day had no outlet, and even though he had money, he couldn't go out and enjoy himself. He seemed even more gloomy and unpredictable. Since he couldn't vent his anger on me, he took it out on the caregivers. Qingjing moved into a private ward at the hospital, and during this time, I often went to visit him just to annoy him. Jiang Qiutong, why do I feel like you're the real daughter of my parents? Not even a word can be said to you. Facing Qingjing's accusation, I smirked. Maybe that's true. Compared to you, I do feel closer to our parents. They took me house hunting yesterday and even mentioned taking me on a trip abroad in a while. After casually showing off, Qingjing's mentality indeed collapsed. When his parents went to see him, he threw a huge tantrum. Why are you giving Jiang Qiutong so much? Am I your son or is she? Chung-jing only cared about immediate gains and refused to listen to his parents' explanations. The house they bought for me is an apartment. Not expensive, suitable for a single woman to live in. They planned to renovate it and rent it out as a steady income, but Chung-jing only heard the words "buy a house" and started demanding that they buy one for him too. I was planning to take you to see the house once you're feeling better. Since you're in such a hurry, I'll take Chiu Tong to see it this week and send you the details on your phone, Chung Fu said disappointedly, but Chung-jing was too short-sighted to notice the disappointment in his eyes. He then shouted, "And the trip? Why only take Jian Chiu Tong?" I stepped forward, puzzled, and said, "Honey, what are you thinking? Of course, our parents will take us both. Once you're out of the hospital, we'll go to the Maldives together," I said with a smile, and Chung-jing's face turned red with anger. "You're lying. You clearly bragged to me that our parents were only taking you. You must have misheard. You're our own son. How could we not take you with us? Maybe you've been under too much stress lately and misinterpreted things. Oh, so that's your game, Jian Chiutong. I may have a broken leg, but I'm not senile. You're doing this on purpose, trying to create a rift between me and our parents so you can swindle them out of their money." Chung-jing suddenly realized, his eyes red with anger as he shouted. I covered my mouth, tears streaming down my face in disbelief. "How could you think that of me, if it was just about money? Why would I have stayed to take care of you? I've given so much to you, and this is how you repay me. Chung-jing, you're heartless." Only after speaking did Chung-jing realize his mistake. Seeing the frowns on his parents' faces, he panicked, swallowed his words, and sullenly apologized to me. Ever since his parents arrived, every time Chung-jing said something to me, I would cry, and his parents would scold him. Over time, Chung-jing didn't dare to say anything to me anymore. The resentment built up every day, and even though he had money, he couldn't go out and enjoy himself. He looked even more gloomy and unpredictable. Unable to vent his anger on me, he took it out on the caregivers. Chung-jing was admitted to a private ward in the hospital, and during this time, I often went to visit him, just to annoy him. "Jian Chiutong, I feel like you're the real daughter of my parents. You can't even be scolded once." Facing Chung-jing's accusation, I smirked. "Maybe so. I do feel closer to them than you. They went to buy me a house yesterday and even mentioned taking me on a trip abroad in a while." After my casual bragging, Chung-jing's mentality indeed collapsed. When his parents went to see her, she threw a huge tantrum. "Why are you giving so much to Jian Chiutong? Am I your son or is he?" Chung-jing only cared about immediate benefits and wouldn't listen to his parents' explanations at all. "The house they bought for me is an apartment, not expensive. Located in an area suitable for female artists, they plan to renovate it and rent it out to provide me with a steady income." But Chung-jing only heard the words "buy a house" and demanded that they buy one for her too. "I was planning to take you to see some houses once you're feeling better. Since you're in such a hurry, I'll take Chiu Tong to look at some this week and send you the details on your phone." Chang's father spoke with disappointment. But Chung-jing was too impatient to notice his disappointment. She continued shouting, "And what about the trip? Why only take Jian Chiu Tong?" At that moment, I stepped forward, puzzled, and said, "Honey, what are you thinking? Of course, our parents will take us all. Once you're discharged, we'll go to the Maldives." I said this with a smile, but Chung-jing's face turned red with anger. "You're lying. You bragged to me that our parents were only taking you. You must have misheard. You're their real son. How could they not take you? Maybe you're under too much pressure and got it wrong." "Fine, Jian Chiutong. I may have a broken leg, but I'm not senile. You're doing this on purpose, trying to create a rift between me and our parents so you can swindle them out of their money." Chung-jing suddenly realized, red-eyed and cursing. I covered my mouth in disbelief and started crying. "How could you think that of me, if it was just for money? Why would I have stayed to take care of you? I've given so much to you, and you say this about me? Chung-jing, you're heartless." Only then did Chung-jing realize her mistake. Seeing the frowns on her parents' faces, she panicked and, with a dark expression, apologized to me. Ever since his parents arrived, every time Chung-jing said something about me, I would cry, and his parents would scold her. Over time, Chung-jing stopped criticizing me. Unable to vent her frustrations, even with money, she couldn't enjoy herself. She became even more gloomy and unpredictable. Unable to vent her anger on me, she took it out on the caregivers. Chung-jing went to the private ward of the hospital. During this period, I often went to see him, or rather, her, just to annoy him. "Jian Chiutong, why do I feel like you're the real daughter of my parents? You can't even say a word." Facing Chung-jing's accusation, I smirked. "Maybe so. Compared to you, I do feel closer to mom and dad. They went to buy me a house yesterday and even mentioned taking me on a trip abroad in a while." After my casual bragging, Chung-jing's mind clearly broke down. When our parents went to see her, she threw a huge tantrum, shouting, "Why are you giving Jiang Qiutong so much? Am I your son or is he?" Chungjing only cares about immediate benefits and refuses to listen to our parents' explanations. The house they bought for me is an apartment. Not expensive. Located in an area suitable for female artists, it's fully furnished and intended to be rented out as a steady income for me. But Chungjing only heard the words "buy a house" and started demanding they buy one for her too. "I was planning to take you to see some houses once you're feeling better. Since you're in such a hurry, I'll take Qiutong to look this week and send you the details on your phone." Cheng's father said disappointedly, but Chungjing, too eager for quick gains, didn't notice his disappointment and continued shouting, "And the trip, why only take Jiang Qiutong?" At this point, I stepped in, puzzled. "Honey, what are you thinking? Of course, Mom and Dad will take us all. Once you're discharged, we'll go to the Maldives." Smiling, I finished, but Chungjing's face turned red with anger. "You're lying. You clearly bragged to me that they're only taking you. You must have misheard. You're their real son. How could they not take you? Maybe you're just under too much pressure and got it wrong." "Fine, Jiang Qiutong. I may have a broken leg, but I'm not senile. You're doing this on purpose, trying to create a rift between me and our parents so you can swindle them out of their money." Chungjing suddenly realized, red-eyed and cursing. I covered my mouth, shocked and crying. "How can you think that of me? If it was about money, why would I have stayed to take care of you? I've done so much for you, and this is how you repay me." "Chungjing, you're heartless." Only then did Chungjing realize her mistake. Seeing the frowns on our parents' faces, she panicked and, with a dark expression, apologized to me. Ever since his parents arrived, every time Chungjing said a word against me, I would cry, and our parents would scold her. Over time, Chungjing stopped saying anything to me, unable to vent her frustrations. Even with money, she couldn't go out and enjoy herself. She became even more gloomy, moody, and unpredictable. Unable to vent her anger on me, she took it out on the nurses. Chungjing went to the private ward of the hospital. During this period, I often went to see him, or rather, her, just to annoy him. "Jiang Qiutong, why do I feel like you're the real daughter of my parents? You can't even say a word." Facing Chungjing's accusation, I smirked. "Maybe so, compared to you. I do feel closer to Mom and Dad. They went to buy me a house yesterday and even mentioned taking me on a trip abroad in a while." After my casual bragging, Chungjing's mind clearly broke down. When our parents went to see her, she threw a huge tantrum, shouting, "Why are you giving Jiang Qiutong so much? Am I your son or is he?" Chungjing only cares about immediate benefits and refuses to listen to our parents' explanations. The house they bought for me is an apartment, not expensive. Located in an area suitable for female artists, it's fully furnished and intended to be rented out, providing me with a steady income. But Chungjing only heard the word house and demanded they buy one for her too. "I was planning to take you to see some houses once you're feeling better. Since you're in such a hurry, I'll take Qiutong to look this week and send you the details on your phone." Cheng's father said disappointedly, but Chungjing, too eager for quick gains, didn't notice his disappointment and continued, "And the trip, why only take Jiang Qiutong?" At this point, I stepped in, puzzled. "Honey, what are you thinking? Of course, Mom and Dad will take us all. Once you're discharged, we'll go to the Maldives." Smiling, I finished, but Chungjing's face turned red with anger. "You're lying. You clearly bragged to me that they're only taking you. You must have misheard. You're their real son. How could they not take you? Maybe you're just under too much stress and got it wrong." "Fine, Jiang Qiutong. I may have a broken leg, but I'm not senile. You're doing this on purpose, trying to create a rift between me and our parents so you can swindle them out of their money." Chungjing suddenly realized, red-eyed and cursing. I covered my mouth, shocked and crying. "How could you think that of me? If it was about money, why would I have stayed to take care of you? I've done so much for you. And this is how you repay me." "Chungjing, you're heartless." Only then did Chungjing realize her mistake. Seeing the frowns on our parents' faces, she panicked and, with a dark expression, apologized to me. Ever since his parents arrived, every time Chungjing said a word against me, I would cry, and our parents would scold her. Over time, Chungjing stopped saying anything to me, unable to vent her frustrations. Even with money, she couldn't enjoy herself. She became even more gloomy, moody and unpredictable. Unable to vent her anger on me, she took it out on the nurses. Chungjing went to a private ward in the hospital. During this time, I often went to visit him, or rather, her, just to annoy him. "Jiang Qiutong, why do I feel like you're the real daughter of my parents? You can't even take a single word." Facing Chungjing's accusation, I smirked. "Maybe so, compared to you. I do feel closer to Mom and Dad. They went to buy me a house yesterday and even said they'd take me on a trip abroad in a while." After my casual bragging, Qingjing's attitude definitely took a hit. When father and mother Qing went to see her, she threw a huge tantrum. Why are you giving Jiang Qiutong so much? Am I your son or is she? Qingjing only cares about immediate benefits and couldn't be bothered to listen to father and mother Qing's explanations. The house they bought for me is an apartment, not expensive. Suitable for a single woman to live in. They plan to have it renovated and then rent it out as a steady income. But Qingjing only heard the words buy a house and started demanding they buy one for her too. I was planning to take you to see some houses once you're feeling better. Since you're in such a hurry, I'll take Qiutong to look this week and send you the details, Father Qing said disappointedly. But Qingjing was too impatient for quick gains and completely missed the disappointment in his eyes. She then shouted, and the trip, why only take Jiang Qiutong? At this point, I stepped in, puzzled, and said, honey, what are you thinking? Of course, mom and dad will take us all. Once you're discharged, we'll go to the Maldives, I said with a smile, and Qingjing's face turned red with anger. You're lying. You clearly bragged to me that mom and dad were only taking you. You must have misheard. You're our own son. How could we not take you with us? Maybe you've been under too much stress lately and misinterpreted things. Oh, so that's your game, Jiang Qiutong. I may have a broken leg, but I'm not senile. You're deliberately trying to create a rift between me and our parents so you can swindle them out of their money. Qingjing suddenly realized, his eyes red with anger as he shouted, how could you think that of me, if it was just about money? Why would I have stayed to take care of you? I've given so much to you, and this is how you repay me. Qingjing, you have no conscience at all. Only after speaking did Qingjing realize his mistake. Seeing the frowns on his parents' faces, he panicked, swallowed his words, and sullenly apologized to me. Ever since his parents arrived, every time Qingjing said something to me, I would cry, and his parents would scold him. Over time, Qingjing didn't dare to say anything to me anymore. The resentment he felt every day had no outlet, and even though he had money, he couldn't go out and enjoy himself. He seemed even more gloomy and unpredictable. Since he couldn't vent his anger on me, he took it out on the caregivers. Qingjing moved into a private ward at the hospital, and during this time, I often went to visit him just to annoy him. Jiang Qiutong, I feel like you're the real daughter of my parents, not me. Even a word from me is too much. Facing Qingjing's accusation, I smirked. Maybe so. Compared to you, I do feel closer to mom and dad. They took me house hunting yesterday and even mentioned taking me on a trip abroad in a while. After casually showing off, Qingjing's mental state clearly crumbled. When his parents went to see him, he erupted. Why are you giving Jiang Qiutong so much? Am I your son or is she? Qingjing only cared about immediate gains. She couldn't listen to her parents' explanations at all. The house they bought for me is an apartment, not expensive, suitable for a single woman to live in. They plan to renovate it and rent it out as a steady income. But Qingjing only heard the words buy a house and demanded that they buy one for her too. I was planning to take you to see the house once you're feeling better. Since you're in such a hurry, I'll take Qiutong to see it this week and send you the details on your phone, Qingfu said disappointedly, but Qingjing was too short-sighted to notice the disappointment in his eyes. She then shouted, and the trip, why only take Jiang Qiutong? I stepped forward, puzzled, and said, honey, what are you thinking? Of course, our parents will take us both. Once you're out of the hospital, we'll go to the Maldives, I said with a smile, and Qingjing's face turned red with anger. You're lying. You clearly bragged to me that our parents were only taking you. You must have misheard. You're our own son. How could we not take you with us? Maybe you've been under too much stress lately and misinterpreted things. Oh, so that's your game, Jiang Qiutong. I may have a broken leg, but I'm not senile. You're deliberately trying to create a rift between me and our parents so you can swindle them out of their money. Qingjing suddenly realized. His eyes red with anger as he shouted, how could you think that of me? If it was just about money, why would I have stayed to take care of you? I've given so much to you, and this is how you repay me. Qingjing, you have no conscience at all. Only after speaking did Qingjing realize his mistake. Seeing the frowns on his parents' faces, he panicked, swallowed his words, and sullenly apologized to me. Not long after, the hospital nurse told me that Qingjing had called his foster parents to the hospital. In his previous life, as soon as Qingjing's foster parents learned he had money, they immediately came crawling back to him. He gave them a large sum of money and even invited them to his wedding. He didn't harbor any resentment toward his foster parents. On the contrary, he kept it a secret from his biological parents and used their money to support his foster parents. I watched through the surveillance as Qingjing complained to his foster parents, sobbing about the unfair treatment he had endured, complaining that no one valued him, and constantly cursing, blaming me for ruining his life. His foster parents comforted him with pity, and Qingjing was moved to tears. "Mom and Dad, you are my real parents." He only listened to the sweet words but failed to see the calculations in his foster parents' eyes, together in the hospital room. "They plotted against me. Jiang Qiutong is just a woman. If you don't like her, divorce her and get rid of her. This kind of woman is only after your money. You can't be soft on her. Good boy, we are your real family. What does it matter if your biological parents have money? They only came looking for you now. We raised you for over 20 years. Once you inherit the family fortune, come back home to live. We'll still be a family." Qingjing's foster parents' words made him feel extremely comforted, and he immediately took out money from his pocket to give to them. Watching his self-inflicted predicament, I sneered inwardly and decided to help him out by informing his ex-girlfriend about his reunion with his biological family. This ex-girlfriend, who had abandoned him after his car accident in his previous life, showed up at the hospital the next day. At first, Qingjing was a bit angry. But as soon as his ex-girlfriend shed tears, he immediately softened, and the two rekindled their romance. Qingjing never loved me to begin with and had long planned to dump me and get back together with his ex. Now that she was back in his arms, he immediately started planning for the future. "Xiaoya, it's too crowded here. You should stay away from the hospital for now. Once I divorce Jiang Qiutong, I'll marry you right away," his ex-girlfriend Xiaoya worriedly said. "But didn't you say your parents really like Jiang Qiutong? Will they agree to the divorce?" Qingjing sneered. "What's so hard about that? Jiang Qiutong is just pretending. Once I find someone to expose her true nature, my parents will naturally kick her out." I was still wondering how Qingjing would expose my true nature when the next day, as our whole family went to the hospital to visit him, a man suddenly rushed out, holding a phone. "Qiutong, how could you betray me? We agreed to con Qingjing's money and then run away together, but why did you change your mind? You actually left me and married him." The man was shouting loudly while filming, attracting a crowd in the hospital. I didn't know him at all, and my face turned cold. "So, this is what Qingjing meant by revealing my true nature. It was all a fabrication." "Qiutong, what's going on?" Cheng's mother asked, frowning. I shook my head coldly. "I don't know him. How could you not know me? I've slept with you so many times. I even know there's a scar on your waist." "Jiang Qiutong, you ungrateful woman, you saw Qingjing got rich and forgot about me, didn't you?" The man continued shouting, live streaming on his phone. Qingjing feigned astonishment at this moment. "How do you know Qiutong has a scar on her waist? Could it be that you really had something going on with Qiutong?" He sat pale-faced in his wheelchair, looking genuinely pitiful with his incredulous expression. "No. Qiutong wouldn't do this to me. She loves me. She doesn't love you at all. She just wants to scam your medical expenses. What woman would want to stay with a cripple like you? She's just pretending. She's been used up by me, you fool." The man sneered. Due to the previous news, Qingjing and I had already gained some online fame. Now that the situation had reversed, many netizens flooded into the live stream. "I knew it. How could there be a woman so good? She must be pretending. Oh my god, this woman is so disgusting. I thought it was true love, but it's all fake." The male lead not only broke his leg but also got cheated on by his girlfriend. How pitiful. This woman is so calculating, marrying him for money and planning to get half the assets in a divorce. Seeing the situation unfolding in the direction Qingjing wanted, he couldn't help but reveal a hint of satisfaction in his eyes, though his face still pretended to be pained and bewildered. "I won't allow you to slander Qiutong like this. You must be guessing randomly. What kind of nonsense is this? I know a lot about Jiang Qiutong. The scar on her waist was from when she was a kid and got cut by glass while riding a bike. She also has a mole on the bottom of her foot, while you were lying in the hospital in pain. Jiang Qiutong and I were having a good time in the hotel next door." "No, Qiutong. How could you do this to me? So you've been lying to me all along." Qingjing clutched his head in agony, pretending to be sick again. Cheng's parents looked at me helplessly. "Qiutong, what's going on?" I clenched my fists, my voice cold. "I'll say it one more time. I don't know him. You say I slept with you. Can you provide any evidence?" "What evidence? You said I was better than Qingjing in bed. Does that count? Why don't you just strip down and show everyone if you have a scar on your waist?" The man laughed loudly after saying this. He was taking advantage of the fact that women often suffer in such situations, so he felt free to make lewd remarks, ruin my reputation, and was quite pleased with himself for doing so. I stepped forward, facing the camera. "Which hotel? Since you're being so specific, let me ask you, which hotel did I sleep with you in?" The man was taken aback. "It's near the hospital." I rattled off a list of hotel names, and the man picked one at random. "Yes, it's this hotel." I smirked, a hint of mockery in my voice. "This hotel is 30 kilometers from the hospital. How is that near the hospital? The man panicked instantly and instinctively looked towards Qingjing. Qingjing frowned and gave him a meaningful look, prompting the man to quickly say, maybe I got it wrong, but it's a hotel with a similar name, one we often go to, don't even think about denying it. They are watching, they'll stand up for me, Jian Qiutong, you'll get what's coming to you. After the man finished cursing, he wanted to shut off the live stream and flee at Qingjing's signal. His original goal was to smear my reputation, and now that he was close to achieving it, he wanted to escape. But I had anticipated this outcome and stepped forward to snatch the phone from his hand first. Mom and Dad, this man might have raped me while I was unconscious. Lock the door. Call the police, he can't leave. Cheng's mother was the first to react, quickly closing the door. I held the phone and addressed the scrolling comments in the live stream. Everyone, don't rush to conclusions. Like you, I'm not clear about the situation, but for the sake of my reputation, this matter must be investigated thoroughly today. Seeing the door locked, the man panicked. Let me out, I didn't do anything. How can you call the police? Cheng's father stopped him. And Cheng's mother called the police under my guidance. Watching their actions, I felt the only warmth in this absurd situation. You said I slept with you, at a hotel nearby. Is that true? I shouted angrily. The man nodded nervously. Which hotel? Show me the room records. I demanded further, and he became even more flustered. I always booked on the spot, and sometimes not in a hotel, mostly at your place. My place. What date? What time did you come? I pressed on, and the man, in his panic, blurted out a random time. I smirked coldly, looking at the phone screen as I said to the netizens, I hope the majority of netizens can help me testify. I will be live streaming all the way to the police station. I don't know this man, but he did mention my physical characteristics. These are my secrets, known to very few people. So I have reasonable suspicion that this man drugged me and forced himself on me while I was unconscious. I have surveillance at home. And once we retrieve the footage at the police station, the truth will come to light. After I finished speaking, the man was completely panicked. It wasn't me, I didn't rape you, someone hired me. Just as he was about to reveal the truth, Qingjing was desperate and interrupted him in a heart-wrenching voice. Jian Qiutong, stop the live stream, turn it off. Do you want everyone to know I've been cuckolded? If you keep live streaming, I'll kill myself. I turned around, holding the phone to him, and shouted word by word, your reputation is reputation, but mine isn't. If he can drive you to death, can't you drive me to death? Qingjing, I didn't do such a thing. What exactly are you afraid of? Cheng's mother hung up the police call and came over to me. Qiutong, I've already called the police. Don't worry, the police will clear your name. Mom believes in you. Qingjing, you have to believe Qiutong too. The man who had been spreading rumors turned pale when he heard calling the police. He had only been doing it for money, and now that he was about to end up in jail, he couldn't keep up the act anymore. Please, sister, don't call the police. I admit I was pretending. I don't know you. I was the one spreading rumors about you. Please, sister, I was just doing it for money. I didn't rape you. It was all lies. He started slapping himself, tears almost falling. I pointed the camera at him. Who sent you? Tell me, and I'll let you go. The man looked at Qingjing, trembling as he raised his finger. It's him. He paid me to do it. He's the one who told me everything about you. He's the one who's been cheating on you. He's been with his ex-girlfriend for a long time, and he wants to dump you. That's why he came up with this plan. As soon as these words were spoken, the entire room fell silent. Qingjing was trembling all over, his face as pale as a ghost. No, he's slandering me. I have the transfer records. You gave me 50,000 yuan to do this. I don't want the money. Sister, please, have mercy. On account of me telling you, let me off. The man cried and begged incessantly. Cheng's mother was so furious that she nearly lost her footing and fell into my arms. You scoundrel, did you really do such a thing? Cheng's father grabbed his cane, his eyes red with anger, and struck at Qingjing. Are you really our son? How could we have given birth to such an ungrateful wretch? Qiutong has gone to such great lengths to take care of you, and you dare to do this. Qingjing wailed but refused to admit it. The police arrived and took all of us away. Not long after arriving at the police station, the truth came out. It was indeed Qingjing who orchestrated it. With clear phone recordings, chat logs, and transfer records, I followed through with the live broadcast as promised. Netizens exploded. I really want to throw up. How can there be such a vicious man? He deserves to have his leg broken. Why didn't he get killed by the car? Luckily, the female lead is smart, otherwise she would have fallen for the villain's scheme. Outside the police station, Cheng's mother was sobbing uncontrollably, while his father was shaking with anger. Hitting Qingjing with his cane, Qingjing, in pain, exploded in rage. It's all because of you. That's why I ended up like this. If you hadn't lost me, I would have been fine, not some crippled man with a broken leg. You never took care of me, so why do you demand so much from me? It's all your fault. You're the ones who deserve to die. I hate you for the rest of my life. I don't want to acknowledge you as my parents. I have my own parents. Get lost. Take your daughter Jiang Qiutong and leave. I want to go back to my own home. You never loved me. Upon hearing this, Cheng's mother was so overwhelmed with emotion that she fainted on the spot. Jing had completely given up, demanding money from the two elderly people so he could move in with his foster parents. Cheng's father was so furious his voice trembled. I won't give a single penny to a wretch like you. I took Cheng's parents to the hospital first. Cheng called his foster parents to pick him up, and it's unclear what he said to trick them into coming. In the hospital, Cheng's mother slowly woke up, holding my hand with guilt, and said, Qiutong, divorce Jing. He's not worthy of you. Our family has wronged you, and I will give you some money as compensation. I shook my head and held her hand, saying, Jing is no good, but during this time with you, I've come to see you as my own parents, whether we divorce or not. I want to take care of you. My words moved the two elderly people to tears, and they hugged me, crying nonstop, good child, it's us parents who are sorry for you. Jing went to live with his foster parents and even brought his ex-girlfriend back home. Soon after, he called to demand money, constantly accusing the two elderly people, saying they owed him. When Mr. and Mrs. Ching hesitated, I held their hands. Jing's foster parents are not good people. They could abandon him before, and now they must be taking him back just for money. By not giving him money, we're helping Jing see their true colors. My words strengthened their resolve not to give him money. Unable to get money, Jing was kicked out by his foster parents within a month, and his ex-girlfriend was also cursed at, you useless piece of trash, you dared to deceive us, you couldn't get any money in a month. We wasted our food and drink on you, get out now. Bags and bundles of belongings were thrown out, and his ex-girlfriend slapped Jing directly. I didn't get a single penny, and I'm constantly being scolded. Jing, go to hell. I uploaded the video of Jing and his ex-girlfriend fooling around online, and soon someone uncovered the identity of the ex-girlfriend. The two of them were like rats running across the street, being scolded wherever they went. They couldn't get any money, their reputation was ruined. And no one believed Jing's act of pity anymore, so he was directly kicked out. As he lay on the ground in a miserable heap, crying, I walked over and looked down at him with pity. What a mess. Jing cried and clung to my foot. Qiutong, I was wrong. You still love me, right? Please say something nice to our parents for me. I want to go home. I really was wrong. I crouched down and sighed. Why would you think that? You're their child. How could they abandon you? Really, Qiutong? Jing's eyes lit up. Of course it's true. I took Jing back, and as the car stopped in front of a luxurious villa, Jing exclaimed in shock, where is this? This is our home, I said. Jing was overjoyed and pushed his wheelchair forward. By the time we entered the house, Jing's parents, who had already packed their bags and were ready to leave, had been waiting for a long time. Seeing them, Jing cried and repented, while his parents sighed endlessly at him. Son, we are also to blame for what has become of you. Forgive our selfishness, but we simply cannot accept you like this. Qiutong is right. The environment here is not suitable for us. We still want to live abroad, and Qiutong will take care of you in the future. We are leaving. Jing's father's words left Jing bewildered. What do you mean? I crouched down, held Jing's hand, and gave a bright smile. Honey, from now on, I'll take care of the household finances. You just focus on recovering and enjoying your life at home. You're taking all the money. What about me? You're leaving without leaving me any money. Jing shook his head in panic. Fu spoke coldly. Qiutong's money is your money. If you need anything, ask her. Jing felt something was off, but the sight of the luxurious mansion and cars left him speechless. After seeing off Fu and Mu, I pushed Jing back to the villa, humming happily all the way. How much did your parents give you? Jing asked me, and I continued humming. A lot. It's enough for several lifetimes. Then share some with me, he said, and I chuckled. That's my money. What does it have to do with you? Jing was stunned. Mom and Dad said you should give me money. I nodded. Yes, dear, don't worry. I won't let you starve. I've even hired 5 caregivers to take care of you. This villa is too far away, and I won't be coming back. So you can just enjoy yourself with them here. Really, are they like the ones before? Are they pretty, young? Jing sounded a bit excited, and I nodded. Very young. I pushed him inside, where 5 burly men, each standing at 9 meters tall and looking terrifyingly fierce, were waiting. As Jing stared in shock, I handed the wheelchair to one of the men and whispered softly in his ear, "Honey, I know you have trouble moving your lower body. So I specially found 5 strong men to fulfill your future happiness. I have work to attend to, so I'll be leaving now." Amid Qingjing's heart-wrenching screams, I left the villa. The first time Qingjing went to the hospital, it was because his entire anus had prolapsed. The doctor suggested I should call the police, but I laughed it off, saying, "My husband just loves playing this game, it's nothing serious." The second time Qingjing went to the hospital was due to a suicide attempt. He had pushed himself off the balcony in his wheelchair. I did everything I could to gather the best doctors, crying my eyes out outside the operating room, before finally saving him. But as a result, Qingjing became completely paralyzed. Before, he could only move his legs. But now he couldn't move anything below his neck. He couldn't speak, only able to move his eyes. When he realized he was still alive, he cried in despair. I held his hand and cried along with him. "Honey, I know you're a strong person, and you will get better. I'll be by your side, waiting for you to stand up. Even if there's only a glimmer of hope, I'll bring you back. Even if you have to spend your whole life in bed, you can't give up. Keep fighting."